Hey everybody. Today we are going to be working on drawing a fall landscape. And a landscape is an outdoor picture. So it's a picture where it's not of a person, it's not of like a flower or one animal. The picture is just about an outdoor space. And we're going to do some things to make ours a fall landscape. And here's just an example. Of something like what we're going to do. And the focus of today is we're going to try to show space or distance in our picture. So for example, we're going to make things that are further away, like this house, smaller than things that are up close, like this pumpkin. Like we know that a pumpkin is smaller than a house, but in our picture, the house and the pumpkin are about the same size. In fact, the pumpkin, I drew it bigger than the house because the house is further away. And some other things we're going to do is, that's called size contrast, when you have things that are bigger looking closer and things that are smaller looking further away. The other kind of thing we're going to do is overlap. So here you can see there's some overlap where one pumpkin is in front of the other pumpkin and it covers it up a little bit. And that's another way of showing some space or distance. Okay, some other things, other things that we'll do is we're going to put a horizon line. So we all know this line, the horizon line, goes across our picture. Also, we're going to do something called atmospheric perspective, and that's where things that are closer have more details than things that are further away. And I'll show you what that means when we get to it. All right, so you'll need a pencil, an eraser, and a piece of just normal drawing paper, and we'll get started. So you can go ahead and pause the video until everybody's got everything that they need. And when you're ready, we'll hit play and we'll get started. Okay, so I've got my pencil. And I want you to make sure that your paper is sideways or hamburger style. I call it landscape style. So it's wider than it is tall. Then we're going to go ahead and write our name. But I want you to write your name in the middle, not in the corner like we normally do. Write it in the middle. And you can put your class there too. All right, so now that you've got your name at the top in the middle, you could even put it on the back if you want to. We're going to start by drawing some pumpkins. And the first pumpkin is going to be so close that it doesn't even fit on the page. So I'm going to go over to the right corner on the bottom, and I'm just going to draw a curve. So it starts on the edge of the paper, and it ends on the bottom edge of the paper. And then I'll add a couple lines in here to show that it's a pumpkin. And later on we can color it orange. Now let's do some overlap. And I'm going to draw a stem floating up here above that pumpkin we just drew. And the way I draw a stem is I just draw, it's going to go a rectangle with a wide bottom. If that shape is confusing to you, just draw a rectangle. Now this part's important. After you've drawn the stem, we're going to draw the outside edge of the pumpkin. And I'm going to start here. I'm going to make my way around. I'm going to bump into that pumpkin that we already drew to make the overlap. This one's going to go all the way off the page. Okay, now let's add the lines onto that pumpkin. So all the lines, this is the method for drawing any pumpkin. All the lines have to start on the stem. So the first line I draw goes from the stem and it goes straight down. And then the lines on the left side start on the stem and curve to the left. And all the lines on the right side start at the stem and curve to the right. Now I've got 2 pumpkins. And I think we should do one more pumpkin. Okay, this one's going to be quite a bit smaller because it's a little bit further away. I'm going to draw one more stem. Make sure you're leaving room for the horizon line and stuff up there. So I drew my stem. That rectangle almost looks like a chocolate chip. I'm going to curve around and bump into the pumpkin I just drew. Curve around and bump into the pumpkin I just drew. And if y'all need a little extra time, this video can be paused and everybody can catch up on drawing their pumpkins. Now I'm going to draw a straight line from the stem to the bottom of the pumpkin. Just like that. Then on the left, I curve that way. On the right, I curve the other way, to the right. Now I got 3 pumpkins with some overlap. Now on the other side of the picture, we're going to draw a tree. And I'm going to go pretty much to the middle of the paper. And on the left side, draw a zigzag line. Now do you see how my zigzag line goes all the way to the edge of the paper? It doesn't go across the whole way, just from the edge of the paper over a little bit. And once you have your zigzag line, then we're going to draw from the zigzag line, we're going to just draw up all the way to the top of the paper. Okay, so there we've got our tree trunk. That line went all the way off the edge of the paper. And now, check out this real easy way to make it look like there's a branch on our tree. I'm going to draw the letter V at the top of our paper. So I'm going to go down and up. If you don't want to add that, you don't have to. And let's put a little hole for a creature that's living in the tree. So I'm going to put the letter O, or the number 0. So now I've got a tree. And now it's time for that really important line called a horizon line. And it's going to start above the pumpkins and go all the way over to the tree. It's going to run into the tree, just like that. So it went from the edge of the paper to the side of the tree. Okay. Now this part is kind of tricky, but we can do it, all right? So on my paper, and hopefully it'll work out on your paper, but you may have to change it up a little bit. I'm going to put a dot above the pumpkins on the horizon line. And I'm going to draw a line that goes over under the tree and off the paper. So mine went off the paper on the side, right? Not on the bottom. And then I'm going to go back up to the same dot. Put my pencil right on that dot. I'm going to draw down, down. I'm going to go off the paper to the bottom. And there I have a little road going through the pumpkin patch. Make sure that this part is the smallest part of your road, right there on the horizon line. That makes it look like it's far away. Now, let's add a house. And we've already drawn a house together, so this should be hopefully pretty easy for you. But I'm going to start out by drawing a square or a rectangle right on top of the horizon line. Not above it, right on top of it. And then I have to erase the line inside of it. Okay. Then we'll do a triangle for the roof. If you want to draw a different type of house, you can, that's fine. It could be a barn too, it doesn't have to be a house. And if you're ready, you can draw some things in the sky, but you may need a little bit of more time on your house. So take your time. And if you need to pause it, you can go ahead and pause it. Now there's one more thing, one more way of showing space. So we have things that are further away look smaller, we have overlap, but we're going to do what's called atmospheric perspective, and we're going to draw another tree. And that tree that's far away is not going to have any details. This tree that's close up, you can draw the bark. You can draw all sorts of details on it if you want. But the tree that we're going to draw now is just going to be a black line. So I'm going to start out on the horizon line and draw a little number 1. And I'm going to make it a little thicker. And I'll draw some branches. Then I've got a tree without any details on it because it's so far away you wouldn't even see those details. And the other thing is it's fall. This is a fall landscape, so I didn't even draw any leaves on the tree. They've all fallen off. And from there, you can add whatever details you want. This is your picture.